Welcome everyone. So I want to make a quick video here about the books I would like to read in 2025. Is there a particular number of books I want to read this year? Not really. On my Goodreads I put 25. I'll probably end up reading more, but maybe less. Doesn't matter. But that's what I put just to put something. Now, there are some books that I would like to get through this year. These are books that in the past I have been wanting to read, and for reason X, I just haven't dedicated the time to reading them, and I usually just read other books. But these are some that I would like to read, and I just want to share that with you all. So, the first one is Pickwick Papers by Charles Dickens. Now, I read my first Dickens novel last year with great expectation. It's a good book. Really excited about reading Pickwick Papers. I already started, and it's there's a lot of satire. I was thinking about reading on Don Quixote this year, but there seems to be a lot of similarity between Don Quixote and Pickwick Papers, and I felt like I wanted to read Pickwick Papers first since one of the goals that I have is to at least read a Charles Dickens novel once a year. I have 14 of them. I bought all of them as far as I understand, and a few of the novellas that he wrote. So maybe next year I'll read Don Quixote, but this year, Pickwick Papers. Dickens is such a good writer. He wrote this when he was about early to mid 20s, and even then, it's amazing the way he wrote. And he is so funny the way he describes things. So far, the few chapters I've read of this. But Pickwick Papers is one of the books I would like to read this year. Another book I would like to read is the Odyssey here by Homer, to credit it to Homer. The talks about the Trojan War. At least I think it's 1 year of the Trojan War, out of 10 or 11, if my memory serves me right. But this is the only one that we have. There might have been more, but this is the Fitzgerald translation. It's about 590 pages. I've never read it. I want to read it, and I'm excited to read it. I know it's one of the great books of the Western world, what helped us develop our Western thought. This is one of the foundational books, the Iliad. The other one, usually a companion, is the Odyssey. Basically, this continues on the story, focusing on Odysseus, which is one of the characters from the Iliad. And the Iliad, I didn't mention it, but basically all of Greece unites against Troy, and whether that actually happened or not, most people throughout history said that that's probably something that didn't occur. But I think recent history has shown that there might be some archaeological evidence that there was an actual Troy. Maybe this war did exist. Obviously, not in all the details that Homer says, as there's a lot of myth and Greek gods and so forth in that. But it was a good book that I read last year with in regards to the Trojan War, and it traced some of the culture and things of that nature. But the Odyssey is a continuation of that, focusing on Odysseus in what should have taken about less than half a year, 6 months, maybe 4 months journey to head home. Ended up taking about 10 years, and this is the 10-year journey of Odysseus heading home. And this is really fantastical. He sees Cyclops and demigods and all these other things. But again, this is another one of those foundational books for the history of Western thought, the development, one of the books that helped us with that. Middlemarch is another book that I want to read. I haven't read it yet. And it's by George Eliot. I don't know very much of anything about her, but I also didn't know very much of anything about Charles Dickens when I read him, and I ended up loving it. And this is one of those books that people that read literature, classics especially, I've heard them speak highly of this book. So I'm pretty excited about it. Doesn't mean I have to like it, but I don't mind reading something that is long and what sometimes people consider slow, because you can spend time. I think that's one of the advantages of being a slow reader, which is what I consider myself, a slow reader. and have time to enjoy the story, enjoy the characters, and see what that's all about. This next book by Fyodor Dostoevsky is The Brothers Karamazov, which is a Russian literature. This is Russian literature. It's a novel. I haven't read any Russian novels at all, so I'm pretty excited about this. Now, one of the things that I heard people tell me with in regards to reading any type of Russian novel from Tolstoy or Dostoevsky is that to understand there's going to be a lot of names I've never heard because they're Russian names, and a lot of them have nicknames. So you hear different Russian names and they're referring to the same character. So I'll probably do some type of Google search, internet search, and see all the characters, and then see what nicknames those characters have to help me with that. But I'm pretty excited and for this book. The sixth book that I would like to read this year is Bram Stoker's Dracula. I want to read this starting October. I try to get it done in a month. In October, I read Frankenstein and Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Last year it was around the summertime, and then I ended up reading Picture of Dorian Gray around the month of October, which is kind of like that month where most YouTubers and so forth talk about these type of books. This is another Gothic literature book. I'm very excited about reading this one. I can't wait. The length of this one is about 515 pages. Pretty excited about that. And then lastly, the last book that I would like to read in 2025. Obviously, I'll have other books that I'll read as well, but these are the ones I would like to get done. This one, it's been definitely over a decade, much longer than that I've been wanting to read it, and I just haven't dedicated the time. I've tried a few times and I've quit a few chapters in, and I'm really going to try to get through it this time. And that is The Institutes of the Christian Religion by John Calvin. It's a 2-volume set. The translation is by McNeil. And between both books, they are 1,520 pages, so it's a lot of pages. It's a very, very, very heavy set here, but I'm pretty excited. It's one of those books that has influenced Christian thought and just Western thought in general as well. So anyway, those are some books that I would definitely like to get accomplished and read this year. What books have you always wanted to read? And do you have any plans on getting through any of them this year? Please let me know by commenting below. Thank you.